Jonathan Rea crosses the line, a 1 minute 26.041, and it's 3.5 tenths of a second faster than Toprak Razgatlioglu. Jonathan Rea looking like he could be on pole here, but there are still Ducatis out there circulating with 3 minutes to go. Bautista and Petrucci both up on their latest laps.
And for Rea, he's clearly upset about something there as he runs off the Craner curves there as well, but we'll see what the issue is there for Rea. For Bautista and Petrucci towing each other around, they're on course to move up to the top of the timesheets. A tenth of a second for Bautista. If he can have a clean run to the line, we could see a 1 minute 25.
Jonathan Rea, pole sitter at Donington Park in each of the last 2 years, by over half a second in 2021, by just a couple of tenths of a second in 2022. Hasn't been off the front row here since 2016. He leads the way, a 1 minute 26.041. But here comes Alvaro Bautista off the final turn. It's not good enough. Less than a tenth of a second down. Bautista with a 126.1. Danilo Petrucci a 126.2. So your front row as things stand, Rea, Bautista and Petrucci. Your second row, Razgatlioglu, Lowe's and Sykes now relegated to P6, but Razgatlioglu, Lowe's and Locatelli all making their way out for one final flying lap in the dying minutes of Superpole here at Donington Park.
Yeah, they're going to have enough time for one more flying lap right at the end of the session. It's going to be interesting to see what anyone can do. Bassani's had a crash at the last corner. That's going to cost Brad Rea as he comes through with the yellow flags. Rea improves his time, moves up into the top 10. That time's going to be taken away.
Axel Bassani rejoining the circuit. Less than 2 minutes to go on the clock. Bautista and Petrucci continuing on for another lap. Here's the end of the spill for Bassani.
Pretty similar to what we saw for Rinaldi as well. And for Bassani, though, a little bit less damage done to the bike, but he has to come back into the pits. That's Bautista! Bautista, who was down in 5th on the grid here last season, his worst qualifying effort of 2022, becomes the third of the top 3 Ducatis in the World Championship to end up down on the deck. And with 1.5 minutes to go, that is the end of the hopes for Bautista to extend his run of consecutive pole positions that stretches from Assen to Misano. Bautista is down and out of Superpole at Donington Park. Yeah, that looks like it's up at Coppice, so he's going to crest the hill and the front's just going to fold away from him. Just asks a little bit too much from him. Has to stand the bike up, and then he just heads to the scene of his accident there. But for Alvaro, at least, he's all right after a crash like that. Just trying to push on to try and get that pole, but just asked a little bit too much of it. Carries a bit too much speed in. He's then offline. You're trying to just stand it up, head towards the Prosecco signs there to try and get onto the grass, but the gravel's deep through there, so Alvaro has a crash, but no real issue for him.
And Danilo Petrucci, who was following him round on the circuit, had to bail out of his lap as well, so there's no change in the top 3. Razgatlioglu's going to get in one final lap here. Alex Lowe's has just started what's going to be his final flying lap. Andrea Locatelli should get one more in as well. Good to see Michael Ruben Rinaldi out on the track. Remember, he had a spill earlier on. He's got an opportunity to bring himself right into contention here.
No wings on Rinaldi's bike on the left-hand side, so Ducati didn't get that bike repaired. They've just put him back out there with the crash bike.
Much improved in Superpole this season so far. Michael Ruben Rinaldi, that first front row qualifying of the season, last time out at Misano after 3 second row efforts. It's good enough for P7 for Rinaldi, a new personal best, 126.564. He's got time for another lap, although it didn't look like he was going for it as he made it into turn number 1. Garrett Gerloff crosses the line to slot in behind Rinaldi into P8. Scott Redding has already made his way back into the pits. He's been dropped down into 11th position, and this is Tom Sykes, 6th place for him as things stand, and still other riders who might be able to improve. Lorenzo Baldassari
just going to cost Toprak
the gravel, and Razgatlioglu already tucked in behind Xavi Vierke is going to lose out here. Razgatlioglu was down after sector 2, and he's certainly down and out after sector 3. So Rea, Bautista, Petrucci is your front row. Row 2, Razgatlioglu, Lowe's and Sykes. The checkered flag has fallen here at Donington Park, and Rinaldi, I was right, he had rolled off at the start of what could have been one final flying lap for him. That's going to cost him 7th position because Andrea Locatelli has just crossed the line for a new personal best after the checkered flag, really the last seconds of Superpole. Locatelli with a 126.510 to get up onto row 2. So good effort that from Locatelli in the end. He joins teammate Razgatlioglu on the second row. Dominic Egerter currently 12th place. Don't think he's going to get as high as that second row to displace Locatelli, but he could get up onto row 3 here. Egerter goes for, oh, he does get up onto the second row of the grid and pushes Locatelli down to 7th. Really good final sector that from Dominic Egerter.